Today we're in New York once again, but not in the Catskills, the Adirondacks. Yep, we are beginning our quest to do the Adirondack High Peaks on the Northeast 115 4,000 footers list. We'll be attempting to hike Giant Mountain via the Ridge Trail. 3 miles, 3,050 feet of elevation gain, so it's going to be a decent little climb. So 6 miles round trip. I would go over to Rocky Peak Ridge, but I don't have enough time. As it is right now, I only have about 3.5 hours of daylight, which should be just enough. Even so, there's a very realistic possibility that I'll be hiking down via flashlight. Anyway, we have a register here. I'm going to sign into that, and then I'll meet you on the way up. When I got to the register, I realized I forgot my marker spikes, so I had to run back and get them. Because looking at the mountain from New York Route 73, it looks like I'm going to need them. Now, about this trail, my grandmother's friend, who's done the 46 Adirondack High Peaks, said the Giant Mountain Trail has a lot of false summits. Let's see if that holds true. Anyway, I'll meet you further up the Giant Mountain Trail. Across this dry riverbed and go up. I talked to a hiker just now who was hiking down trail. He said the top is very, very snowy, and the trail, as far as steepness goes, is pretty straightforward. Good to know. We're in a pretty flat and shady area right now, which is a nice little reprieve, because a while back we climbed some fairly steep and rough switchbacks. Yep, like I think I said before, 3 miles one way, 3,050 feet of elevation gain. And the fact that we got a late start too, we're gonna earn this one. That is for sure. I already have our first major viewpoint, which is good because the summit of Giant itself might be sucked in. Like the summits of those high peaks out there. What they are, I don't know. Still, Adirondack newbie, so learning where everything is going to take some time. So anyway, I'm going to take some pictures, and I'll meet you further up the trail to Giant Mountain. We've reached the trail junction at this little mountain pond. Roaring Brook Trail, a mile that way, and the Nubble and Giant Mountain via the Ridge Trail are 0.8 and 2.2 away this way, respectively. So we're going to carefully cross this bridge, take a picture of the pond while I'm at it, and I'll meet you further up. Alright, I've reached the junction with the trail to the Nubble. Let's see, Giant Ridge Trail continues that way toward the summit of the aforementioned mountain. And we also have our first signs of snow, and I chatted with 2 hikers, and apparently there's a lot of snow and ice near the top. They didn't have crampons, so they had to turn back. I'm gonna skip to the Nubble for now. That's because I have limited daylight. I don't want to hike down the whole thing by flashlight. I drove 4 hours to get here, so I'm making an honest attempt at the top. I'm only turning back if it's absolutely necessary. So anyway, onward we go to the summit of number 71. Yay, a vertical gain boost. Yep, the trail's pretty wet. In fact, might wear my crampons down this part, even though there's no snow, just so I can have more traction, so to speak. There are actually a fair amount of switchbacks on this trail. Something that I used to back in the White Mountains. Hey, I ain't complaining. Although, can't help but wonder what the upper part of this trail all the snow and ice is, will be. Just have to wait and see. More views out the Adirondacks High Peaks. Cool. The first of, well, there'll probably be several scrambles. This is pretty wet, so I'm going to climb it, and then I'll meet you around that top over there. Snow cover is getting more prevalent, at least on the trees and in the on the dirt. Still got a lot of open ledges to go. Didn't know it at first, and my camera batteries are starting to run low. So if I see something interesting, like Rocky Peak Ridge over there, I'll show it to you. I was talking to another fellow hiker, and he said that all over these ledges, from here over to the summit this morning, was all snow, like a half-inch of it. And thus far, it's literally all melted. Pretty much. Not quite as bad as I thought it would be, although I still am wondering what the ice situation is going to be like above 4,000 feet. Man. Granted, the clouds are obscuring the highest of peaks, but I'm loving it so far. There's some killer views. I bet if I go deep within the High Peaks wilderness, they'd be even better. Oh well, someday. Alright, Giant Mountain, 7/10 of a mile that way. And the snow and ice is picking up. Got the micro spikes on. Can we do it? Can we summon the number 71 on the Northeast 115 list? Let's find out. Oh yeah, and by the way, that's alternate access via the Roaring Brook Trail. Anyway, if something interesting happens, I'll show it to you. Otherwise, I'll meet you on the top of my 71st Northeast 4,000 footer. Alright, here we have a steep and slick and slushy and icy section. Going up will be one thing, going down should be a whole nother story. But I have micro spikes, so it shouldn't be that bad. And anyway, the summit should be not far from here. So if something interesting happens, I'll show it to you. Otherwise, I'll meet you at the top of Giant Mountain. Alright, we've reached the junction at the Ridge Trail over to Rocky Peak Ridge and Route 9 at New Russian, New York. The summit should be about 1/10 of a mile or so this way. And assuming nothing interesting comes up, I'll meet you at the top once and for all. We're back at the trailhead near Chapel Pond off New York Route 73 in Keene Valley. We did it. Number 2 on the Adirondacks High Peaks, number 71 on the Northeast 115 is done. Pretty straightforward hike, pretty steep in spots. The ledges afforded excellent views. A lot of snow and ice up on the top for this time of year anyway. Some of it was soft in for the most part. I did get a few peekable views, so I'm happy about that. Round trip distance was 6 miles to 3,050 feet elevation gain. It took 3.5 hours, not including breaks. So, from the trailhead of Chapel Pond and Giant Mountain, see you on my next adventure.